Welcome to Tell Me Something Good. I'm your host, Shelly.
And I'm your host, Jackie.
And today we're just going to do a little segment of reading Reddit stories and reacting. And we're going to do Am I the Asshole? So we're just going to read them and then share our opinions on them. And yeah, let's get into it.
Okay.
So mine is, am I the asshole for not telling my wife I got a vasectomy? Me and my wife have been discussing for years that we wanted a large family. After we had our first child, a boy, we decided to wait 2 years to have another. It's now been a little over 6 years, and it's been a roller coaster. We have completely different parenting philosophies as she does not believe in spankings or discipline at all, for the matter. She thinks our 7-year-old, for whatever reason, is able to rationalize between right and wrong. Our biggest argument occurred last summer when our son threw a rock at a woman while we were hiking. We were above them on a trail and it hit her right on the head to where she was bleeding so heavily EMS had to be called. I was so embarrassed and so livid that when we got back to the hotel, I snapped and pushed him on the ground, stood over him, and gave him a piece of my mind. My wife was not happy, and in turn, our son got another hotel and told my mother-in-law that she was contemplating on leaving me because she fears for the safety of our son. That was the only time I ever snapped at our kid, and there have been so many other times where I wanted to. When he raised the window on our dog and nearly decapitated her head, I had to back off. But when he urinated in our neighbor's pool in front of his young daughters, I had to back off. We've done therapy and counseling. Needless to say that till this day, nothing has changed. I decided to bring it up in one of our counseling sessions that I was considering getting a vasectomy, and she flipped to the point. When our entire ride home, she was bawling because she felt as if I was giving up on our dream of having a big family. Her argument was I was thinking about myself and weaponizing my body as a means to enforce my ideals instead of talking to her. However, that's the thing. I've spent the last several years telling her that what we're doing with our son is not working. The gentle parenting therapy medication is not working. So the best thing I can do at this point is to not have any more children with the person who will not let me have any input in what comes to disciplining our children. So this week I actually got the vasectomy and my wife was unaware. From the time I scheduled to the day of the operation, and I told her during breakfast, she has threatened to divorce me because she does not want to spend the rest of her life with someone who will go to such lengths to get their way. Every time we've discussed getting a vasectomy, she said, I'm blowing things out of proportion, and that having children were a part of our future. At this point, I don't even care anymore. So is he the asshole?
A lot to unpack. Well, I'm going to say, is he an asshole for that? Probably. Because that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But you can reverse them, right?
Yeah.
So it's reversible. But you can't reverse what's going on with their marriage. Because I think it's getting deeper than... And I think that's why when you are dating, it's important for you to know what your parenting styles are going to be.
Yeah, I feel like that's something you need to talk about before
yes,
you get married.
Like, are you going to spank him? I don't believe in spanking. And then that could become an issue. But at this point, I do see where the mom needs to put her foot down. Because I've seen bad little kids and their mamas don't tell them nothing. And it pisses me off. But also, I understand everyone has different parenting. And I'm not saying like smack them or nothing, but at least tell them that it's wrong. We don't do that. Because they grow up to be spoiled little brats.
Yeah, because if he does hit somebody with a rock, like when they're older, he's going to jail. Like,
yeah,
I feel like you have to teach them as kids that you cannot do that. And I think each child is different with which way you have to parent them. But I don't think he should have like lost his cool and pushed this kid to the ground.
No, not at all.
But also, maybe like a little ass whooping could maybe benefit him.
Yeah, and I think that's the hard thing though, because I know whenever the mom says it's okay and the dad says he doesn't know what's right.
Yeah,
like he's conflicted. Of course he's going to go with what his mom says because she has his back. Mm-hmm. But also the mom and the dad need to come to an agreement and both parent at the same until the kid both like
yeah, because I think
be
he
a
said
team.
The kid is 7. So that's a lot. Then urinating in the pool in front of the neighbor's daughters. Like,
and not only that, they're putting their child in a position where, yeah, maybe the parents don't do anything. Somebody else could do something to him if he's doing these things. But do you think he's an asshole?
I think he's an asshole for getting the vasectomy.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I think it's kind of hard because everyone has their own parenting.
But I don't think they need more kids if they can't agree on, the ones they have of how to parent.
But he did tell her right at the end that he did get in it. He ended up telling her. But, I mean, it's reversible on him. Mm-hmm. And maybe she'll be like, okay, well, he's serious. So,
yeah.
Because I think it could be, I see where he's coming from. Like, I do see, like, I can't imagine.
And I think as a man, you want to lead your household and, like, have more say in how your kids are raised and stuff. Because I know moms have, like, mother's intuition and stuff, but I think kids do need a balance, like a stern person. And
yeah, I agree. But yeah, I think doing that I don't agree with anyone doing anything behind anybody's back like that. So I would say he's an asshole, but I kind of see why he did it.
I feel like in this situation, everyone's an asshole.
Yeah, I think even the little 7-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, the kid, the wife, and the dad, like.
Yeah.
But I don't know because they've tried counseling and stuff.
Like,
so
they are trying.
Yeah, so I don't know what would be the correct step for them. Like, they just have to come to a happy medium somehow and say, I'm like, at this point, try the dad's way if the mom's way ain't working.
Yeah.
I mean, not physical abuse, like nothing where you're like.
But being more strict.
For sure. Putting your foot down. And because in the real world, like, you can't do whatever you want. You have to follow certain rules. So.
Yeah. I would say it was very asshole of him to do it behind her back. But I do see if she's not they're not meeting in the middle, then I kind of see why.
Yeah.
So. Right here. Okay. Am I the asshole for tipping our babysitter $30? Hello all. My husband and I got into an argument last night because I tipped our babysitter $30. I love her. She has always been wonderful to our kiddo, and she is a friend of ours outside of that. To be honest, I was a little tipsy, and looking back, I did tip heavily. I totally understand. However, my husband is highly upset with me and says he can't trust me to make financial decisions anymore. He was name-calling and told me I'm stupid. We are currently in contract to purchase a business together, and he thinks I am no longer a good business partner to have because I am frivolous, is that how you say it? With giving money away. He said I'll give the wrong amount of money to vendors because I'm feeling generous that day. I would never do that. To me, it's a completely different situation. I want to add that I am the only partner with a job currently. My husband has been unemployed since middle of April. Anyways, if I am the asshole, please let me know. I love learning how to become a better person.
I say no.
No, she is not an asshole. And he's rude.
And he don't have a job. Like, how are you going to tell me how to spend my money?
And I think we've all been there where we're tipsy and we over-tip people. And what are you going to do? Yeah. You can't go back. But if anything, if that is the worst thing you do when you're drunk is be generous, then, and the fact that he's like shaming her and telling her that he doesn't want to open a business with her anymore. I think he just wants an excuse.
So it was the nanny?
Yeah.
I think, like, when it comes to things like that, especially taking care of your kid, like, there's nothing wrong with every now and then just, there's like, this is a little extra just because.
And $30, I would say if it was like $300, I'd be like, okay. Like, but $30, he needs to chill.
Yeah, $30 ain't.
I don't think she's an asshole. And I think he's blowing it out of proportion. And maybe he's just looking for an excuse to kind of like back away from the business they're opening, because that's what people do.
Oh yeah,
sometimes they get scared and they're like, never mind.
But I feel like he's not working. He shouldn't have. I mean, I guess he could give his input, but he shouldn't call her names just because she was feeling generous or she said she was tipsy.
Yes, I mean, we've all done it. I can probably. There's times where I don't even remember how much I've tipped somebody, and I'm like, if anything, I feel worse if I can't remember if I tipped or not. I'm like, wait, did we tip? Are y'all sure we tipped? So it's always like, we obviously always do, but I would rather tip more than to not
Yeah.
tip and be like, plus she was tipsy, and if, like I said, if that's the worst thing she does when she's tipsy, girl, you is an angel in my eyes.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think not the asshole.
Yeah, not the asshole.
The husband's the asshole.
He's being an asshole. This one's kind of short, so I haven't read it, so we'll see. Am I the asshole for blocking my professor because I think he likes me? I, 17, female, and this professor, 24, male, always teasing me and occasionally compliments me. I usually wear my hair down, so when I tied it up, he said, "That hairstyle suits you." At first I thought he was being kind, but this happened several times. One time we were discussing our project in groups, and he came into my group and said, "That really, really suits you, my hairstyle," to me before leaving. I just smiled, but it seems weird that you would come to my group just to say that to me and then walk away. But one thing that I will never forget is that as soon as he found out that I'm liking this one guy in higher level, he told me right away that he was bad for me and start talking shit about him. And that guy probably has a girlfriend. I didn't tell him about the person I was liking, but I figured he found out because he spoke to several of my friends. We are not close. I am the shy kind of student, and I don't think I could ever walk up to my teachers and start ranting or telling them who I liked. I don't know if it was just him being protective, but why though? I blocked him on all my social media platforms because of this, so he can't bother me anymore or say needless things that have nothing to do with education. But I was uncomfortable because I thought it might be something else, even if he was simply being kind. Do you think that my professor is being kind to me, or does he actually like me? Am I the asshole for blocking him because of how I felt?
No,
he's being freaking weird.
He's 24. She's 17.
17.
No, that's really weird. I don't think professors should compliment like physical appearance or nothing like that.
And they need to mind their business. If it's not related,
yeah.
I
If
feel
it's like kid issues going on, like I feel like don't insert yourself.
And their age is too close for it to not be weird either. It would have been weird even if he was 60 or like, whatever. But he definitely, for her.
And I feel like it's really common for teachers. Like nowadays, I hear all the time of teachers like doing things with students and stuff like that. And I can remember there were some teachers looking back that I'm like, they were flirty with a lot of kids.
Yes. And you would be like, that's the cool teacher. But they would be like touching you. And now that I think back, I'm like, that is weird. Yes. When they touch you, if they make little comments about your appearance, even if they're making fun of you or joking with you, it's weird.
That's like there was that thing going on of the teacher that had the students unbraiding their hair. Did you see it?
I did see that.
And there was like, people were like, is it inappropriate? And like, to me it is.
You shouldn't be touching.
No.
That to me, like, male, female, I don't care. Your teacher should not be touching you. I don't care if she's a woman, if you're a girl and your like, I don't care. I don't want nobody touching my daughter.
And I'm like, maybe that in that instance it was innocent, like that. But I'm like, this, you still blur the line. So they could go with another teacher and think it's okay, and then that teacher crosses the line. So I feel like there's just boundaries that you should have with teachers where like it's not appropriate to do some things.
And he was a young teacher too, right? So I think you just never know people's intentions, even if it was so innocent, and he maybe once you know him, like he would never, but from looking at it from our perspective, I think it looks wrong.
And then I think they would text them and stuff. So I'm like,
I'm sorry, but there's no reason if you're like in school right now, there's no reason you should be texting your teacher.
No.
Unless it's literally related to school.
The parent. I think it should just go through the parents or maybe email or something. But to me, texting's more, I don't know. Like you can email your teacher and be like, this assignment or whatever. That's normal. But having a number and stuff, I don't think so.
And if they're like commenting on your appearance, that's weird. I don't like that. I feel like back then though, I used to be like, oh, that teacher's so cute.
Yeah.
We think.
And that's normal. Like we had crushes on
Yes. Teachers. But if they actually made a move on you, think about it. If they're older and they're hitting on a student, that's weird.
Yeah.
But
it's definitely what is it called?
Crossing the line.
Mm-hmm. And there have been teachers that do end up with students, like multiple times that I know. And I'm like, wow, I thought they were the cool teacher. But
somebody said, he's perving on you. Tell him if he does it again, you'll report him to the school administration.
And good for her for like.
Block and knowing and being aware and picking up on these signs.
Yeah.
And why does she have him on social media? Like, why did he even add her on social media? Because she said she blocked him. Some people are saying, stay away from this creep. It's wildly inappropriate, and I bet the school board wouldn't take it lightly. And then, why does he care who she dates? That's none of his business.
Yeah. That's like pillow talking, like trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, if you, girl, no, that you are so smart. She's 17. That's like,
Yeah.
she's aware.
Not the asshole.
Yes, you are not the asshole. Do you have another one? Or
My daughter contacted me after 17 years asking if I want to meet my granddaughter. Am I the asshole for telling her I don't care about her or her daughter and to never contact me again?
why?
I'm not sure if I'm an asshole. Going to provide some background.
Okay.
I am in my 60s now. I was married to my ex-wife and we had a daughter. Our marriage was going through its ups and downs, but I was really close with my daughter. But as our marriage was going through its difficulties, I made the huge mistake I still regret to this day. I started having an affair with my coworker. She was in a violent, physically abusive relationship at home. We became friends at work, and things just escalated from there. Just got an out from me. She got the support she needed to file for divorce from her husband, who is currently in jail now. The affair went nowhere, and we called it off shortly after. But I was glad that she got out of the abusive relationship and that she was safe. But when my ex-wife found out about the affair, things expectedly didn't go well. She lashed out and said a lot of horrible things about me to our daughter, who was 15 at the time. I admit full fault with the affair, but even after the divorce, I sensed the distance between me and my daughter was growing until one day my daughter said she wasn't going to speak with me anymore and she was going to cut me off from her life forever. That was the most painful thing anyone had ever said to me. I begged her to please reconsider. I still remember that today. But time passed on. My daughter kept her word, and after trying to contact her for the first year, I gave up. I found out from one of my mutual friends that my ex-wife married a great guy. I was happy because I was hoping that would remove the hatred from my ex-wife, and my ex-wife would advise our daughter to at least rekindle a relationship with me. But that never happened, and I moved to states a year later. I'm at peace now, but still some aching sadness. I have retired. Both of my parents have passed away. My brother passed away tragically a couple years ago. To be honest, I'm waiting for my turn. I have only my dog and my sister left. A couple of hours ago, my daughter called me on my phone. I haven't spoken to her in 17 years. I instantly recognized her voice, but I didn't feel anything. No happiness, no sadness, just indifferent. She was crying a lot on the phone, and we caught up on life. She's married, and she has a daughter who's now 12. She apologized for cutting me off, and she says her mom asked her to reconnect with me, as her mom felt guilty about how everything played out. She said she really wanted to meet her daughter, and her daughter was constantly asking about granddaddy, but I wasn't feeling anything. After we caught up on everything in our life, I told her I don't care about her or her daughter, and to never contact me again. And then I hung up. Was I the asshole?
Yes. Oh, that's sad.
I think the biggest asshole.
That is so sad. And I think that time does change your mindset. You know, at the end of the day, he did have an affair. And of course, as a young person, you're 15, it hurts you. You think about why your family's like breaking apart. And that is so sad.
And she had her regrets. I think, especially if it's your kid, like you should forgive, and you should always, as a parent, be willing to work on it. And it affected him. Maybe that's why he's acting that way. But he admitted that it affected him for many years. So
I don't know. I just think life is so short that right now he might be hurt, but he's going to regret it if he doesn't, you know? And the fact that his daughter called him crying, like obviously she's regretful of all the time, but it's never too late to fix that, you know? I think. But I think it is an asshole for him to tell her.
Yeah, and why even say that? I don't care about you or your daughter.
Imagine, this is not funny.
But after catching up, like, why didn't you just say...
or just don't answer. Or don't just pretend. Like, you just heard me cry. And maybe he feels like he has the upper hand now. Like, he's like, like now you... Like, being petty. Like, petty revenge. Yes. But I think that it is very, because at the end of the day, that is your daughter, that is your granddaughter. And I don't know. I just think life is too short to hold grudges. And maybe that's what his daughter realized too.
Mm-hmm. And for the granddaughter to ask about him, I feel like it would have been the perfect opportunity to like
come together,
forgive each other, come together. Yeah.
Oh, I can't imagine my dad cutting me off and telling me that.
Like, I don't
that
care.
would make me cry. I would be crying. Like,
there's an update. Look, I was extremely drunk that night. The words which came out of my mouth weren't the best, and my comments on the post weren't great either. Seeing how everyone said I was the asshole, I decided to call my daughter again an hour ago. I didn't really expect her to pick up the call, but she picked up immediately. I apologized for the night, and she said that there was no need to apologize. I then sent her a link to this Reddit post on the messages and told her I know I was the asshole and thousands said so. She said that I wasn't the asshole, and she started crying again. I told her she's free to come to my house anytime the next 4 months, because after that I will be leaving the country with my sister and our dog. Our parents left us a nice farmhouse in their home country, and we will be spending the rest of our lives there. I sent her an address on my messages, and my daughter said she'd come with her husband and daughter by the end of next week. She said if she was welcome to stay there for a couple of days, and I told her she could stay for however long she wanted, as our house was spacious enough.
Oh, why am I crying? That is like such a happy ending.
I feel like sometimes people need to know, like, you're the asshole, you know? That's why it's good to get other perspectives.
Oh, I'm so proud of him for like being open to people's, you know,
because this comment says, you are the asshole. I hate when adults make very bad adult decisions that affect their children, then blame their children when they respond in very childlike manners. Period. Your daughter was a teenager. That was a rough time for kids when their life is unstable. You gave her 1 whole year before you cut the bait and gave up on her. Then you moved away. You told your daughter she wasn't important enough to fight for, and she believes you. Now that she's an adult with a child of her own, she has reached out to you again and you told her she wasn't important to you. She knows she was probably right to cut you off the first time. That is so true.
Oh, but I love how the daughter was understanding, because she would have been, she could have been like, no, F you. Like, you've already told me this. But I think there's just a lot of emotions involved. And when you're emotional, sometimes you let your emotions take over and not think logically or with your head.
Yeah, and he said he was drinking. I think sometimes your emotions or thoughts are heightened when you're drunk and you just speak whatever you're feeling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I think it's beautiful that there's a happy ending to it.
And the fact that he's leaving forever, that makes me sad. I feel like
if anybody has a relationship like that, like, you don't know how much time you have with someone, or, you know, how long anybody will be here. So I think that she was mature about it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that maybe this needed to happen. Like them, and maybe he chooses not to leave. I don't want him to leave.
Maybe there's another update later.
We're like fully invested in these people. Or maybe he meets his granddaughter and he's like,
I gotta stay.
I want to be your poppy. Your pa. But, that was a happy ending. So if there's anybody that you feel like you've been wanting to reach out to, just do it. Yeah. They might cuss you out and tell you they want nothing to do with you. But hey, they might be drunk and they might call you the next day and tell you that they're sorry. That was a good one. Well,
I think that's it for this Reddit episode. We're going to be doing other ones with like specific stories, whether it be relationships, friendships. There's maybe some funny ones. I feel like that would be fun.
Yes.
So if you like these Reddit story videos, comment down below and we'll be doing more.
And let us know if you think they were assholes or not. Or let us know if you have any moments where you're not sure if you were an asshole.
Yeah, if you have some, send it to our Instagram, Tell Me Something Good podcast DMs, and we'll read them on here. It'll be anonymous, and we'll give you our advice.
Yes. Thank you for watching. We love you, and we hope that you enjoyed this episode.
See y'all next time.
Bye. Bye.